Valve just dropped some news that's gonna matter if you've been sitting on Armory stars or if you've been eyeing some of these skins as an investment. 4 collections are leaving the Armory. Let's talk about what it means and what, if anything, you should actually do about it. Please remember these are just my thoughts and you should always make your own educated decision. Anyways, so Valve put out a tweet saying these 4 things are leaving the Armory soon. The Train 2025 collection, the Sport and Field collection, Sugarface 2 stickers, and Elemental Craft stickers. Now last time they removed non-limited edition items from the Armory, they gave about a couple of weeks warning, so we're probably looking at a similar window here, and I wouldn't rush into anything just yet. Usually the market goes completely apeshit on day 1 of an announcement and starts buying. If anything, this is usually where you should be thinking about selling, because prices are spiking, but we'll get into that later. Firstly, it's also important to mention what's not going anywhere. All 4 charm collections, the Fever case and the Overpass 2024 collection are staying. A lot of people actually thought charms were on the chopping block, but that's not the case, which is actually really interesting because some of the charms have been in there forever. But yeah, let's talk about the Sport and Field collection because that's where most of the hype is, specifically for the M4A1S Fade. This skin has been in the Armory since day 1. There's a supply of over 84,000 and the price is sitting around $370 according to CS Float. Right after the announcement it went up only about $20 to $30. That's it. It's honestly kind of crazy. Even the FOMO of it being removed couldn't push it higher, and that tells you a lot about where the market stands on this skin. The supply is just enormous and I don't think removal alone fixes that. I personally hold an M4 Fade and I have no intention of selling. I think it's a really gorgeous looking skin and long term I really think it could go up in price, but the supply is insane, so you absolutely have to take that into account as well. But if I had any money to invest right now, I wouldn't be having too much of a hard on when it comes to the Sport and Field collection. Moving on, the Train collection is actually performing better than people expected, probably because it wasn't as hyped, so there's less sell pressure. When something flies under the radar, removal news actually hits differently. As an example, the field tested Long Dog went from $188 to $261. That's about a 39% increase, where the M4 Fade only had an increase of roughly 15%. We also need to talk a bit about the Overpass collection. The field tested AK-47 Be the Monster dropped from $255 to $190. That's a 25% decrease. Now this could be an entry point, but it's still a gamble. The collection will still be in the game and we don't know how long, but I think it's at a cheap price right now. So you could consider it, but remember it might be a gamble. Moving on to the Sugarface 2 stickers. I don't feel like a lot of people are talking about this collection. I saw a video from GB, shout out to him, I'll link his video, but he broke down application numbers on these stickers. Papers had 21,000 applied in the past couple of months, hollows 4,000, foils 700. So these stickers are actually being applied and they haven't been in the Armory for as long as some of the others. So if you've got stars and you really want to redeem something, I actually think Sugarface could be one of the smarter plays. They also have the highest ROI compared to CS Float at the moment, but I would also find a quick exit to not be too invested into it. And remember, that's just my take. So if I was going to spend my save stars right now, I'd probably put them towards Sugarface stickers, mainly because of the ROI compared to CS Float. I'd be more careful with Sport and Field and the Elemental Craft stickers. These have had the highest ROI for a long time, which means a lot of people have already been redeeming them, so supply is probably not in your favor. If you want to invest into collections, I'd actually look for an entry point after they get removed, because last time with the graphic collection, prices were actually at the lowest right after removal. So if you had an entry point there, you would actually have made a lot of money. But for me personally, I'm not spending my stars. I want to save them so I can make a video opening whatever new item gets added next. So I'm more content minded in this situation. But last time there was an Armory update, saving stars was actually the wrong move. Their character sticker crafts peaked when removal was announced, then peaked again at removal, and then drop to a more natural level. This time it could be a bit different though, because these collections have been in the Armory for much longer, which changes the dynamics, except of course the Sugarface stickers, because they were recently added. But even with that, I'd still be careful going all in on FOMO and buying everything. Personally, I held some elemental stickers, but I've sold them to try and hit that initial spike in price. Also another important thing to mention is the Animgraph 2 update, which just dropped. The community is absolutely loving it, and if you don't know, CS2 have basically rebuilt animations, better hitbox alignment, reduced Pega's advantages, and you get cleaner sprays. Now I'm no pro CS2 player or anything, but the community is saying it feels a lot like CSGO again, and that matters for the market. A healthier game is more players, which increases demand for skins. That is just something to keep in mind because we've had a rough couple of months for the CS economy. Also, the Armory pass isn't what it used to be. It's less profitable, and Valve really needs to cook something in regards to that, otherwise it will completely lose its hype in the long term. So yeah, key takeaway, don't go crazy with FOMO just because something is being removed. Think it through. If you've got stars and want short-term profit, I would take a look at Sugarface stickers. And if you're thinking longer term, maybe look at the train collection after the removal and see if you can hit a nice price entry. But overall, just be patient, everything will work out, and please don't risk money you can't afford to lose. It is a video game and Valve is really the big boss here. But let me know what you guys are doing. Are you spending your stars or are you holding? And yeah, if this helped, drop a like and a subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.